I have to turn the volume back up. You each are such an incredible blessing. If you remember one thing tonight, in addition to renewing your light, remember that each one of you carries a unique gift into the world. And it doesn't have to be something very complex. You might be a great listener. Give that gift. You might give the best hugs in the world. Give that gift. Maybe you're a musician or a poet, or a facilitator of spaces, or helping people to understand abundance. I mean, there's so many gifts. Everyone, I saw Summer before. dancing, dancing. Summer's been giving her gift every day. My partner Troy, I'm looking at him, he gives his gift of healing bodies and listening to bodies. It's amazing. We each have something. So as we step into this new year, remember, give your gift. Every time you give your gift and share your light, it truly makes the world a better place. And I love each and every one of you. I want to thank Ben Bowler. Yes, perfect timing. Ben Bowler and Unity Earth. Brother, you are a miracle in my life. You are a true miracle in my life. What a gift to be weaving together so many journeys. And tonight, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for inspiring me. You truly, I tell Ben, you're my muse. Like, you just inspire me always to challenge myself more. So thank you. Thank you. And I know we want to also just say a huge thank you to Hubcast for holding us in this space and making such a beautiful broadcast for those who are watching on Unity Earth TV tonight. Thank you, Peter and Michael, for holding us, and Derek, thank you. It takes a team. It really takes a whole family.
Oh my goodness, Kristen, thank you so much. And before people leave, let's just acknowledge a few things. Firstly, that was so perfect as we come together to celebrate the relationship between the light and the dark and the play. And your set list was so inspired, Kristen, for what happens right throughout. And we all have to become transmuting alchemists of our lower nature into our higher essence. And that is the gift of your music that allows us as a almost a rainbow bridge to elevate consciousness, individual level and group level, and I would say even at a planetary level. So what happened here today was a perfect example of how we take something and then you bring the Om Shanti, the peace, and then taking us into the longest night where we can bless and give thanks for the darkness and even for our lower nature, as well as we embrace it all to elevate and to transform and to transcend. This has been a transcendental experience. And speaking of gifts, with what happened earlier in the Zoom room, we didn't get a chance to introduce you properly, Kristen, but also
It's okay.
everybody here is a fan of Kristen. So that's good. Everybody knows you. But really, we want to now do something, friends and family, to amplify the light. It's been incredible to see the response here in the room, the technical team, and everybody responds so beautifully. What an exquisite opening by Sister Jenna. But let's now get and amplify the light. We're going to be sharing the links for where you can support Kristen. This is a free event given to the world. There's like 200 people that have been here in the room, and however many hundred thousands of people watching it around the world through our partners Unify and Uplift and many other spaces, Unity Earth TV, the Sign Network, the Global Peace Tribe. So many people come together in groups to come together and amplify this. And great thanks to Purpose Earth and the Hollow Movement and everybody who's made this possible. So we're going to be putting the link in. This is how we can amplify the light and bless Kristen for her amazing generosity of spirit and leadership and blessing of the world through this vibrational harmony that she brings. Let's support generously Kristen's musical ministry. There is links going out. There are QR codes going out on the broadcast. And this is where you go. You go to this virtual tip jar. You can Venmo, you can PayPal. This is love. This is how we show our love and appreciation. And just think about this. It's the more we empower Kristen as a global community, as a family, the more we empower and lift up Kristen's musical ministry, that then blesses exponentially around the world. So let's demonstrate now by going to PayPal, by going to Venmo, and making these contributions to support this incredible gift that Kristen gives to the world, selflessly, generously, and with such love and devotion. And we've experienced it today, the power of the transformation of the medicine that you bring, Kristin. And this is as an example for all of the beloved musicians that are doing incredible work in this transformational community. Let's get behind and demonstrate here today, tonight, with our support for Kristin, how much it means to us that these musicians, because we talk about going to world unity, we talk about transforming consciousness, we talk about elevating love on the planet. The greatest assets and one of the greatest resources we have is music and our musicians. And so let's demonstrate that right now. Let's all go and get on that Venmo, get on that PayPal, and you can join, not just a one-time donation, but if you have another look there, you can actually join Kristin's Sonic Soul family. And this is something every month there is a gathering and you get special access into, become a member. Who wouldn't want to be a member of Kristin's Sonic Soul family? Just go down, you can be a crown member, a heart member, a core member, connected at the core, such beauty, such power to transform. And it's our blessing and opportunity to be able to support in a small way the incredible global musical ministry that Kristin has. And again, emblematic of our love and appreciation for musicians all around the world. Kristin, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was so, I'm practicing receiving that amount of, that was so beautiful. Thank you. I bow in gratitude and to each and every one of you. Ben, I was just having flashbacks to that evolutionary leaders trip when you sold a drawing that Alex Gray made at the retreat, and everyone wanted it then. Ben just has this way. He's such a gift. Thank you. I feel blessed. And I know we want to thank also those who really helped us to get the message out tonight. Scott Katamas, the Global Peace Tribe, thank you so much. Uplift, Unify, Purpose Earth, thank you so much. Ben, help me. I know I'm blanking on a couple of special
whole
people that we
movement,
want.
people that support, and of course, Unify, you mentioned, Uplift. So many people coming together to spread this light, and it's so beautiful. And it's important, perhaps, as we begin to close to Kristin, that this journey that we're on, it's not always peace, light, love, unity, groovy stuff. Sometimes we are faced with our own inner challenges, and sometimes it's in our family or in our community, or it's really close by, or our own journey of spiritual growth is to meet and to encounter sometimes that darkness. So the way we embrace that, and the way we transform that, and the way we heal that, and you're such a beautiful demonstration again, Kristin, of doing that tonight. I thought it was so profound, the way that it all took place. And for those who might be watching the broadcast who have no idea what we're talking about, that's fine too. But just say there is a beauty in taking something and transforming it into something higher and something beautiful. And we experienced that today. The people here in the Zoom room getting in the chat, spreading all of their love, and now driving that to Kristin's musical ministry. Let's focus on that. Let's do something tangible and practical. $11 a month to be a part of Kristin's Soul Tribe. Come on, let's go and let's do it. So let's final words, Kristin Hoffmann. Thank you for that.
Well, I want to just thank all of the Global Peace Tribers who came, and I know you're gonna go back and watch the show at the Global Peace Tribe right after this. I also wanted to mention that I'm co-hosting the final show of the year with Scott Katamas next week. So that's going to be a beautiful end of the year. And I think that's it for announcements. But my last words are just love, love, and more love. Be that love, feel that love, hold that love, drink in that love, dream that love, dance that love. Embrace the love and set it free. Be that love. It's your choice. It only takes a moment. Okay. Blessings. Blessings for the solstice.
If you find your nature, your purpose of being in this world, back to do the thing that you were born to do.
Purpose make happen. So we are in a country with challenges. and with very difficulty to get sponsorship or funding because we are all desperate for anything we can get.
What we've been able to do with Purpose Earth and the help that we've received from Purpose Earth is fast track that process so that we can start more projects, get more space in urban areas, and plant more Miyawaki forests.
Purpose Earth lifted us up, gave us the opportunity, gave us the hope, and made it happen. So where we were stuck, you gave us the solution and you gave us the path to move forward.
Purpose Earth is illuminating that. So thank you.
It's just been amazing to receive this help from Purpose Earth.
Thank you, Purpose Earth.
Thank you, Purpose Earth.
Thank you, Purpose Earth, and welcome, Global Peace Tribers. Hello, everybody. Wow. Well, I know most of you were watching that incredible, beautiful concert with Kristin Hoffmann, and it was definitely very, very special. And welcome to the Awakening World. I started recording a little while back, but we do still need to do our live stream. So I'm going to start the live stream right now. And here we go. And usually, of course, we start with our Awakening World trailer. And so I'm going to go ahead and play that as well, and then let you know what we've got. We've got some beautiful guests tonight. We've got Omashar. We've got a lot of good things happening. So thank you for being here. And here we go.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy winter solstice. Summer solstice for some of you that are coming to us from down under. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and I'm honored to be your host for the Awakening World. And please let us know in the chat box where you're coming from geographically and what this holy day season means to you. And we've got a really beautiful show planned for tonight. Let me tell you who we've got with us. First and foremost, we've got, well, not foremost, everybody's wonderful. We've got Hallelujah Anasuya with us tonight. And she's, of course, one of our favorite Global Peace Tribers. I see the wild monk, Jerry Anderson, got all excited. That you're with us. Hallelujah.
Good evening, everyone.
So
Or good morning if you're down under.
That's right. All sorts of times and places. So we're going to hear from Hallelujah Anasuya. We're going to meet a new friend tonight. This is Linda Shay, and she is got an extraordinary relationship to dolphins. And I know that many of you feel a deep and profound connection to the cetacean nation. And we're going to learn a lot more about her and about the cetacean nation. So welcome to the Awakening World, Linda.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Aloha, everybody.
And Neil Gar is with us. He doesn't have his camera on yet, so I can't put the camera on Neil, but I can put the camera on my co-pilot, our wonderful Omashar, who, as always, get us off to a wonderful start. But before that happens, I'm going to come on for a moment. I know that most of you were watching the Kristin Hoffmann concert, and it was beautiful. It was really exquisite. But you know, a sad and kind of funky thing happened. Some of you might have noticed that in the chat box, some troublemaker went into the chat box of the Unity Earth broadcast and was posting a lot of foul and vulgar things. And somehow they figured out how to use the name of one of our absolute most beloved global peace drivers, Susan Blomquist. And Susan comes to every show. She's a dear friend. She's a very special soul. She came to our Global Peace Tribe retreat in Los Angeles. And imagine the horror of having someone using your name and putting obscene things in the chat box. So first and foremost, I just want everybody who might have seen that to know that Susan Blomquist did not write any of that. And Susan's with us right now. She doesn't want to put her camera on, but she's in the Zoom room with us. And I just like for us, because that's such a shocking experience to have. It's very shocking to a person's nervous system. So I want us to just all send maximum grace, love, and healing to the precious heart, precious spirit of our precious friend, Susan Blomquist. I'm going to go to gallery view for that for a minute. Thank you, everyone. You know, this planet at all times is in shadow and in light. And we are the light. And there's a lot of shadow going on the planet right now, but we are the light. And just as Kristin handled that so beautifully, and we all do. And oh, here's Neil Gar. He's got his camera on. So Neil, I'm going to put the spotlight on you for a moment. One of our other guests we're going to hear from in a few moments, as soon as Omashar does the song, is Neil Gar from Portal to Ascension, who's also going to bless us some of his wonderful wordsmithing. Hey, Neil, it's great to have you with us.
It's good to be here.
All right. Well, let's go to our beloved Omashar for an opening song. He'll be blessing us with 3 songs tonight. And take it away, Maestro.
I will. And upon this sobering note, it's amazing. Neil was literally on a cruise ship about 6 to 8 hours ago today. He came back from the Bermuda Triangle and other amazing places. And Susan, sweetheart, I know what a shock it is. I was actually on a call a few months ago and something similar came up, except they had visual images as well. I won't even go into it. It was horrifying. And every time we put out the person whose name had been hacked, they managed to find something else. So it was actually an AI bot, not necessarily an actual person. And so breathe. I know how you feel. Well, I do know how you feel, because the finger was pointed at me then. Well, it wasn't, but it was virtually. But anyway, that's my 2 cents of love towards you. Actually, it's $25 million worth. But and so, in keeping with the beautiful place that Kristin has taken us all to, and the beautiful way that she, very muffled, is it? So anyway, the beautiful way that she handled it. I will, with her grace, and which is where we're going to go now. And It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I see your holy name. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel your holy name. Someday the day shall come when all the glory shall be thine. People will say it is yours, but I shall deny, not mine. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I see your holy name. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel your holy name. Someday the day shall come when all the glory shall be thine. People will say it is yours, and I shall deny, not mine. Allah, Jehovah, Brahma, Sada Namaha. 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 Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Your holy name to all, life to all. Your holy name, love to all. Keep that going. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Keep singing that. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I know your holy name. It's by thy grace that I know. It's by thy grace that I feel your holy name. Sing with me. Peace to all, love to all, life to all. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Thy holy name to all, life to all, thy holy name, oh, thy holy peace to know, life to all, thy holy name, oh, it's by thy grace that I see, it's by thy grace that I feel, it's by thy grace that I know your holy name. Here we go. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Thy holy name.
So I'll give a lot of love and a Global Peace Tribe twinkle to beautiful Omashar.
Me and Snatum Kawa.
That is a beautiful version of it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And yeah, I love that song so much. Thank you. See you in a bit.
Hey, I want to remind everybody that you can get all things Omashar by going to his website. And what's even better is go straight to omashar.bandcamp.com. That's where you're going to get his 5 albums. They're all wonderful. They're all beautiful. I know many of you have gotten them already. But if you haven't, bring Omashar home with you. And also, what a wonderful Christmas present. Stocking stuffers. Omashar.bandcamp.com. And that's where you can get his wonderful albums. And we're blessed. He will be back with us with 2 more songs tonight, one in the middle of the show and one to close us out. I am really enjoying that one of the things that has kind of evolved in the awakening world is just all the different organizations we collaborate with, like collaborating tonight with Unity Earth. When Ben and Kristin were first planning it, they checked in with me and said, hey, Scott, we want to do it on a Saturday night. We'll do it at 5 so it won't interfere with the awakening world. You know, it's beautiful how we collaborate. And my next guest, our first big guest for the evening, is one of our favorite people to collaborate with. We've been working with him going all the way back to the Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe days. And of course, I'm talking about Neil Gar. And hopefully, I know by now many of you have been to his events and experiences that he provides on Portal to Ascension. It is one of the great websites, one of the great things where so many of the people that we love that you see on this show go in depth and do significant events with Neil. Neil is right up there with, people like Alan Steinfeld, who are, beloved members of Global Peace Tribe. And he just, as Omashar mentioned, just got off the boat, the big galactic cruise that so many people went on, including Deborah Giusti and Vivienne Chauvet. And I wanted to invite him to let us know about what's going on with Portal to Ascension. He's got some special programs that I want to make sure people know about. And he's also an amazing wordsmith. So with all of that, I'm honored, fresh off the boat, literally. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you so much for having me back here. It's been a while. I'm just really excited to be here and to be in your energy, brother. So I appreciate you very much. And this is a good day to be here. So what I want to do first is, because as Scott shared, I'm going to be speaking about a few different things. So just to get it out of the way and to show you just a bit about who we are so that we can just get into the experience today and get into some information, I'm going to show my website, and you should see it now. So the Portal to Ascension website, portaltoascension.org. And we create over 70 events a year. And we just did the cruise, which was a 7-day cruise, 22 speakers, 40 presentations, 8 to 10 p.m. every single day. It was extremely powerful, impactful, profound. People had an amazing experience. We went to ancient sites over the Yucatan and Belize. And that was the milestone, really a huge and one massive event. Out of the 70 events we create a year, 80 to 90% of them are online. The rest of them are live and in person. I do a conference in Glastonbury every year, San Diego, California, and different workshops as well. But since tis the season, today we're going to be talking about Yeshua and Christmas. And so I want to just share a couple of events. One that is coming up tomorrow, and I'm going to speak a little bit about this in my talk today, is Kiara Windwriter, Yeshua's Life in India, right? And this one is paradigm shifting. I'll give you a little bit sneak peek of some information here, but ancient texts of Jesus's life have been found in India, 3 distinct texts with some intricate details and information. Again, we'll speak about that in a moment here. That is completely mind-blowing and just connects dots beyond another level, but ultimately connects the dots of the East and the West, Buddhism, Hinduism, and the connection to Christianity and the Essenes. So tomorrow, Kiara is going to give a 2-hour presentation on that. And then, as I like to do every single year, this is the 5th year going, and I feel pretty good about staying committed to this one. When I learned about, I'll tell you about my story about Christianity and Christmas in a second, but December 24th, I'm doing a free show. I do it every single year, free or by donation, Pagan Origins of Christmas and New Year's Eve. Pagan Origins of Christmas and New Year's Eve. I got the mushroom there, the flying reindeer. We got Rudolph and his nose. We got the 2 types of Santa Clauses here too. And this one, we're going to talk about, obviously, Pagan Origins of Christmas, New Year's Eve, and going deep into Saturnalia, how Christmas was, the date came about, how the New Year's date came about, what it represents, and why it got shifted. We'll talk about the Roman Empire. It's going to be very, very intricate and multi-layered and connect back to thousands of years before Christianity. So if you're interested, portaltoascension.org, and go under events and you can check it out there. And then also, I have my Spotify page, MC Resonance, the letter M, C Resonance, if you're interested in my spoken word, which I'm going to do a little bit about today. So I want to talk about is, we really have to go back deep into history, and we're going to talk about Moses and go into all the way into Christianity, the invent of Christianity, the advent of it. But firstly, the way I kind of even started considering Christianity and Christmas is when I got into all of this awareness, and before I even started Portal to Ascension, when I was going deep down the rabbit hole, I started realizing that there was a lot of similarities in ancient religions. I used to judge the fact that I was raised Hindu, because I was raised Hindu, right? So I used to judge it. I used to say that I was an atheist Hindu. But then after a few years, just a couple of years ago, really, I shifted that belief to, wow, I was so blessed to be raised in a religion that never told me it's the only way. Okay, so many other cultures say this is the only way, and because I was never told it was the only way, I was celebrating Christmas while I was raised in England every year. I watched King of Kings, I watched Jesus movies every year, binge watched, and I watched Moses movies. I was deeply aware of that life. I even went to Catholic school for 1 year. I went to Catholic school for 1 year in England as well, so I even got some biblical information from there. And pretty soon, when I was like 17, 18 years old, when I was moved to the US when I was 12, when I was 17, 18, I then started doing a little more research because I was never told is the only way on how can I reconcile monotheism with polytheism, because I was always taught, especially in that Catholic school, that these two disciplines, religions, grew independently from each other. That monotheism had nothing to do with polytheism. They both grew independently from each other. As I started researching it, I realized that there was a lot of similarities to Jesus Christ and Krishna. And there's a reason why they both have Chris in the beginning of the name, Christ and Krishna. It's not a coincidence. Krishna was born to a virgin mother. He had a carpenter as a father. He was known as the savior. He said, I am the way and the light. And he died in an arrow in the side where the same place Jesus supposedly had a spear. So I started thinking, wow, this is very interesting. Is the story of Jesus really an older rendition of an older story of what has happened before? So I went from having this awareness and looking for what was next was the root of all religion. So at this point, I was like 19, 20. I then started thinking that Jesus did not exist. Now I've come full circle and I believe it did exist, because I believe there's a cosmic soup that repeats itself with a certain recipe, and Jesus was also one of these incarnations, right? So fast forward into a few years later, I go deep down the rabbit hole of the root of all religion, and I'm trying to explore to see why there's all these connections. So if it wasn't for me looking to see if Jesus existed, I would never have even started Portal to Ascension. That took me to the Sumerians, took me to Gilgamesh and all that. So that's just a little bit of backstory. Now, the story that I want to tell you right now, we're going to go back to the times of Moses, and then we're going to go back to the 700 BCE. Okay, so the story of Moses, he first of all, the slaves in Egypt were not slaves; they were indentured servants. The reason why they're indentured servants was that the Egyptians had fought a war for the Israelites, who were not Israelites at that moment. They were a different culture. They had fought a war for them, and there was a contract between the Egyptians and these beings that they were going to work in exchange to work off the time that the Egyptians had fought for them in the war. The contract had ended. Moses took these people out of the promised land, but he couldn't take them out by force. He was allowed to take them. The whole story of the plagues and everything was an addition later. But he was allowed to take these people away, and they were going to go find their homeland. But these beings did not worship an Abrahamic God. They did not worship Yahweh. They worshiped the same gods, including Isis and a bunch of different deities in Egypt. There were a polytheistic religion. They had not become the Abrahamic Israelites yet. When he took them away, they took the Ark of the Covenant. It took them 40 years to travel something that should have just taken 3 days to get to the promised land. Why did it take them 40 years? Well, if you look at the ancient descriptions of what was occurring, the Ark of the Covenant would levitate, move, stop. They would build a camp around it, and they would live there for years until the Ark of the Covenant raised again and levitated and took them again until it eventually took them to the promised land. Moses didn't die because he wasn't allowed to get to the promised land. Moses died of old age before they got to the promised land. God didn't say, you're not allowed to go. That was also a later rendition. But when they left Egypt, they worshipped Isis. When they were in the desert, they worshipped Ra-Amen. Ra-Amen. Hence the name Amen. Christianity, Judaism, Amen. And then when they got to the promised land, to Jericho, they found a group of people called the Phoenician Canaanites. The Phoenician Canaanites worshipped another deity called Elohim. You might have heard of this Elohim term. Isis, Ra-Amen, Elohim, Israel. Isis, Ra, El, Ohim. Those three deities were the trinity of the foundation of this culture. But the Elohim God was the god of Saturn. They began worshiping the god of Saturn, Elohim, which is why they started worshiping on the Sabbath, which is Saturday, right? So that's the whole trajectory of what was occurring at that moment. But then hundreds of years later, in 700 BCE, something happened on the planet. There was a wipe around the planet from polytheism to monotheism. There were all these beings, they were called powerful ones. Yahweh, Ashtarah, which was the Palladian Israelite god, and all these other types of beings that existed. But all of a sudden, there was a new covenant that came down, and it was from the priesthood of the Israelites in modern day Palestine. And these priesthoods said that we're only going to worship one of the powerful ones, only one of the gods. And who was it? It was Yahweh, right? So they decided to worship Yahweh. So in 700 BCE, across the planet, not just in the Israelites area, but across the planet, we see a move from polytheism to monotheism, okay? So now let's fast forward to the story of Jesus, right? One second. And so so let's go to Jesus now, okay? So it gave you that backstory there. So now Yeshua comes down onto the planet. We have a shift from the Sabbath to Sunday being the worship of the day. We went from Saturn worshiping to sun worship, the Son of God. A lot of people believe that Jesus was the prophet of the Israelites. And Yeshua actually has a translation in English. Yeshua meant to a lot of people Yahweh's salvation. Yahweh's salvation. Dr. Laura, that's what I believe too. Yahweh's salvation. That is the name translated for Yeshua. But if you look at the original translation, it's actually incorrect. It means salvation from Yahweh. Completely different story. He came down to take away the information that about who to shift people from the worship of this Saturn god Yahweh, who, if you look at the Old Testament, is a very vengeful god, killed more people than any evil person in the Bible, in the Old Testament, and bring him to the sun worship of the central sun of creation. And so it was a correction in what had occurred and the distortion that occurred some time ago, right? So Yeshua's salvation. So I wanted to share that, but now I'm going to get into Yeshua's lost years. A lot of people that are Christian, they don't even know that there were lost years of Jesus' life. You know, whenever I'm in a conversation, I'm like, I always ask people. I was at a fitness center for 3 weeks the other day, a few weeks ago, and you know, I have conversations, and I just can't help but going deep. Like, I don't know what else to talk about, so I almost always ask, "Were you raised religious?" And then like, "Oh, I'm Christian," blah blah blah. And I ask them about the text, the Bible. So many of them haven't even read it, and I even say, "Do you know that there were lost years of Jesus' life?" And they say no. Even when they read the Bible, it doesn't really say that there were years that were missing. So now the years that have been missing have been found in a few places. I believe the Urantia book has some information on it, but there are 3 texts in India. And the thing that we're going to do tomorrow with Kiara Winwriter is going to go into this. And this text in India is mind-blowing. It speaks about the 12 tribes of Israel in Israel, and what had occurred was many years before Joseph and Mary was even born, that there was a splitting over the Jordan River, where 11 tribes were on one side, 1 tribe was on the other side. And many times these tribes fought with each other. They tried to take over the other side tried to take over the other side. And then at one point, one tribe hired the Assyrians, right? This is all documented in ancient texts. They hired the Assyrians to go ahead and help them invade the other Israelites, their brethren from ancient times, and take over that land. The Assyrians won the war, but then they took them all over and kicked out that tribe of Israel. And guess where they sent them? Kashmir. This tribe was the tribe of Mary and Joseph. Fast forward decades, if not hundreds of years later, Mary and Joseph is born from the tribe of Israel in Kashmir. Mary receives divine revelation. Then the being says to Mary that you must go to the land of your ancestors to have this child. And the pilgrimage they took was from Kashmir back to Palestine in order to give birth to Jesus. But as they did that, they stopped in ancient Egypt, and they stopped in a few other places to visit the Essenes, her grandmother Anna, and John the Baptist, who was a few years old at that time. And they spent a lot of time with the Essenes, receiving a lot of information. But when Mary and Joseph was living in that town in Kashmir with the Israelite tribe, they were neighbors with Buddhist tribes. The Essenes and the Buddhists had been sharing a lot of information with each other. And this is where the mysticism of Christianity came from. I'm not going to go into too much detail. There's so much here, but Jesus went back to India. He traveled through India for over a decade, connecting with different ancient tribes, eventually ending up in the Himalayas, meditating for a few years with some Siddhi gurus there, one specific Siddhi guru that was his teacher that had been waiting for lifetimes for him to come back, an immortal. This being taught him the Siddhi powers before he went back to get crucified. Now, when he got crucified, I'm just going to say this last part and then we're going to get into something else. When he got crucified, Pontius Pilate was the Roman guy that sent him to get crucified was one of Jesus's biggest followers. So was some of the soldiers that were there at the crucifixion. But who wasn't his followers? The rabbis that didn't want him to be able to spread the information that he was. Joseph of Arimathea, Judas, and Pontius Pilate all made a plot together to attempt to save Jesus' life by not crucifying him entirely and putting it on a day before a holy day. So the next day, on the holy day, he would have to be taken off the cross and his body can be taken away. So this text in India speaks about it. There's this woman who wrote a letter to Jesus from India that was his future wife. And she said in that text, a letter to Jesus in this ancient text, I remember the day you almost died. I almost died with you on that day as well, right? And that's a cliffhanger for you guys. If you want to know more, come to the event tomorrow. And there's so much amazing information that's coming out now about all of this and creating a fully bigger picture understanding of the connection of Yeshua and the mysticism of Christianity. So I just wanted to share that journey with you there. Let me do a time check real quick. Scott, how am I doing here?
Well, you're great. And it's really fascinating. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
We now know that we live in a multidimensional reality. There are parallel universes. What do you think of the idea? Like, as I'm hearing you speak, no doubt this is a true reality. And maybe there are multiple realities, including different realities about Yeshua and what did and did not happen. I'm just wondering how you feel about that, just as a possibility, as a theory.
Yeah. So can you just say that one more time, Scott? Sorry.
Sure. I'll take another approach. I had the good fortune to get to know John Lilly. And John Lilly said everything exists to the degree with which it's imagined. We know that we live in a multidimensional universe. We know that there are alternate realities. We know that there are parallel universes, parallel lives. So is it possible that there are actually many different Yeshua stories, each of which is true from a historical standpoint, but maybe in a different parallel universe?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I feel all parallel realities are happening, right? And all possibilities occur. And so, yes, I feel that's what's happening. Now, when it comes to the Yeshua story as well, there are many other stories of other beings and other prophets that were all combined into one story. So it's a little challenging to decipher it all because it was compiled. And even from what we don't know, there's a lot that we don't know, but we can even track conventionally to see, okay, this was shifted at this time. The story of this Pope was added to Jesus's life, or the image of Jesus was this person that was 500 years after Jesus, right? Yeah. So I agree with that.
And if you take a look at the Shroud of Turin, if you believe that was Jesus, I mean, the way that he really looked was completely different than the Christian the whitening of Jesus, of Yeshua, right? Hey, there's a question for you from Dr. Laura. She asks, Neil, there's a tomb with Yeshua in Srinagar, Kashmir. Do you think that is Yeshua in that tomb? Does that correlate with what you've heard?
Well, okay, so the books, Isa, Son of the Sun, that we're going deep into tomorrow with the webinar with the author, says that he did end up dying in Kashmir. But he also, at the end of his talk, well, end of his description, he says that he actually transcended space-time because he received a certain level of CD powers that he now lives in a physical etheric body, both connected. So, I'm not the expert, I'm the researcher, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm just compiling information here, and all these things are possible.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I want to ask you another question, and then
Yeah,
please bless us with some of
let's do it.
your poetry. What's your take? You're one of those people like myself, Ellen Steinfeld. You have your finger on a lot of pulses of what's going on. What's your take right now of what's going on with the extraordinary increase in UFO sightings, raised consciousness, political turmoil? I mean, the governments of France, Germany, and even the United States, really, the current governments are dropping like flies with new people coming in. What's your take on all of it?
Yeah. So I feel that the veil is lifting, right? And we've pierced through the veil when it comes to just knowing the quantum reality. And the way I look at it is that, Newtonian world, atomic world, the physical world is what we've thought is real for so long. Now we've pierced through into a whole other world, and we're seeing that there's building blocks of this Newtonian world that is paradoxical to the actual world that we live in, to the physical world. How does it make sense that what we're made of is paradoxical to what we actually are? That doesn't make sense. Our brains can't fathom it. So what's happening is we're piercing through the veil. And as we do that, we're also piercing through and able to perceive a reality, not only because of the ascension process, because the evolution into a different age, but just the fact that our awareness of what we are is shifting as well. We're now able to perceive so much that is happening around us that is acting upon a set of physics, laws of physics, that doesn't equate to what we know as normal. Things that we can see in the quantum world, we're now observing actually happening in space, in the waters, and around us. It's inevitable that we're going to awaken to a reality where we realize that there's a universe of existence and life out there. And I know all of you guys feel that as well. So for me, there's a couple things kicking up here. There's a lot of technology that has been reverse engineered, as we can tell from congressional hearings that you guys have launched on here, that have been reverse engineered for at least 70 to 80 years. And if you look back at some of David Grush's testimony, 1933, there's a documented case back in Italy with Mussolini, right? And there's also evidence that certain companies, and such as Bigelow Aerospace, have had technologies as well for quite some time. And a lot of technology has been created from this. Now, some of what we're seeing, I feel, is this technology in action. And then also, we're now seeing a spike in actual phenomena that seems multidimensional. And I feel that both of them are happening at the same time, that there's government craft coming out and there's multidimensional craft coming out. There's a CIA, an ex-CIA agent that said last year that the memo went out to all the governments that they have until 2027 to get their stuff together, basically. And that by 2027, if they don't get this stuff together and tell the world what is going on, that some other force will, some other ET force will. So I really feel that we're coming very close to a critical mass in the world knowing that we're not alone, but pretty soon actually being able to see these craft, know who they are, and know who the beings that are visiting us. So all this is ramping up. Now, when it comes to political turmoil, there also seems to be a battle behind the scenes, especially in the US government and all over the world, between those that want to disclose, those that want to empower, and those that don't. And the trust in the political system, when it comes to just people like you and me, has completely declined over the last 30 years. 30 years ago, asked someone if they believed the government had their back and isn't nefarious and trying to poison them with all types of stuff. 9 out of 10 people will say, yes, they can't be doing that. Now you ask people, you'd get 9 out of 10 people saying, no, I don't trust anyone, or if not 10 out of 10. So the trust in the system has declined. And that's why we see so many people going for populist votes for those that they believe can disrupt the system, because they're sick and tired of what has been happening. And that's happening all over the world. They're sick and tired of the control, the poison, the corruption, the wars, the fighting, the money grabbing, the greed, the chemicals, right? And then a lot of people in the world are now getting very uncomfortable too. They're living in a world where their basic comforts are being threatened. And I said for decades, a couple of decades now, that when people's basic comforts get threatened, that's when they start actually revolting. And as long as you make them feel secure and comfortable and they can still pass by with the status quo, they won't do anything. But people now are realizing that they don't like the way things are, and how can they make a change? And the only way they know how to make a change is by rebelling against the system. So that's what I feel is going on. And it's not something to be scared of, because ultimately what I believe is that all we need as humans, really, the basic comforts are food, water, shelter. The systems, the institutes, the organizations, the Walmarts, the corporations, the tech companies that build websites, if all of those things went, we will still be alive. We will still be able to eat, probably even better than before, eat, drink, and sleep, right? But we've got such a reliance on a system that we think that we cannot exist without it. But what we're seeing now is the crumbling of that system so that it can make way for something new. And that's what I feel is going on.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful summary, Neil. Thank you. Last question is a quick one, and then please bless us with some words.
All right.
If one of our people wants to come to your event tomorrow but can't attend live, will it be recorded? And if they register, do they receive a recording?
Yes, for sure. So definitely you can come back later, you can watch it later, and there's unlimited replay access for all of our events.
Great. So all of your events, do people, whether they're live or not, they get a replay, they get a recording?
Yep.
Good job. All right. Would you bless us with some of your very unique poetry?
Yes, I will do that. All right, so I'm going to play some sound in the background. We did do a test earlier, so hopefully it comes out well. If not, Omashar, just let me know in the chat and I'll make some adjustments. And this is called Cocoon, okay? Katie, tomorrow is Kiara Windwriter, Yeshua, Son of the Sun, Lost Years of Jesus. 24th is Pagan Origins of Christmas and New Year's Eve. Didn't even get into that today. That one's a fun celebration of the Solstice, New Year's Eve, and the pagan elements of Christianity. All right, so this one is called Cocoon, and I wrote this on a plane, and it's kind of crazy. My best poems come out on planes. And I think it's because when I'm sitting in a plane, looking out the window, looking at the clouds, I'm like, what is this? I'm like tripped out, you know, just like floating above the clouds, closer to heaven. And so this is kind of like encapsulating the dark night of the soul, the darkness within, challenges, anxiety, but understanding a bigger picture and the mission of what it means to be human. And it's called Cocoon. So I'll take a deep breath in together. As I enter my cocoon, emotions flood my eyes as I tear up inside, expressed in love from my heart that has been wounded so much. Is that why we're here? To be aware of the cycles of time, the intensity, the ability to reach a consciousness, a level of consciousness that presented itself on this beautiful planet countless times. This planet is so beautiful. The story of how we became. Thousands of years where humanity and time coexisted instead of being authoritative and controlled by the ages that will come and will go and will continue to come again. Each eon presents an opportunity for liberation. As I sit in my cocoon, eyes closed, safe now from the faces, the hatred, the pain, the pain. It hurts me often. Knowing the cycles is not a form of implementation, integration of the construct of the highest order when we do not follow leaders, but our own sovereign leaders of our own right. Facilitator of energy. Why are we here? Who are we? The philosophy of humanity, what makes us unique, but also what connects us to the plants, animals, and what lies beneath our skin, the vehicle to transport our essence. This time has come before. This time has come before. This time. I cannot judge the construct of one system into another. Who can judge me? The frequencies were designed to provide a depth of experience. Duality came from an infinite singularity till it burst into infinite possibility. A fractal, a water drop, a black hole. Where I can go and hide. The vibration of love is sometimes buried deep inside. Why am I here? I often wonder, who am I? Why do I exist? Why do I know what I know? You see, I cry often for the beauty of what it means to be human, for the uniqueness of our position as the galactic position of Earth shifts to better assist in my mission. My mission? My mission? What if I gave it up? Does my life continue, and is the energy on Earth enough? I gave up my mission multiple times. As I could not deal with the depression and the self-hatred inside, I grew up having to lie. Fears, insecurity can lead to a demise or a way to rise. I experienced both. You see, I love the earth so much that sometimes the love makes it hard to communicate with words. My hope for humanity has been tested over and over. I lost hope, but then a silly joke, or just by people watching, my faith is restored. We are beautiful. We are so beautiful. I wish we all knew. I have experienced hate for myself that altered my health, but only I can help me. Only I can help me. Only I can help me. Deep breath in. Yana koani anatiana kaho. Insana koana tiana ha. Ufana kia tanoa nasiana kota tiana boana tia a. Insana ko a no unsana ni okatia. Kampala tira o na isi na kuara a inza no kania ta omna a ta ni ta o ta pita na tira inza na kuata o matma o matma o matma
That was amazing. Let's some beautiful twinkles. Just for that beautiful transmission and for all the work Neil does to help us learn everything from Yeshua in Egypt to so many other things. Neil, you are such a blessing to our awakening world.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Feeling is mutual, brother. I love you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, and a reminder for everybody who's watching on Facebook and YouTube, which is the majority of our audience. Again, you can find all things Neil Gar at portaltoascension.org. Portaltoascension.org. And if you scroll down or click events, that's where you can see the upcoming online events. And again, he talked about Yeshua's life in India and then the pagan origins of Christmas and New Year's. Yeshua's life in India is tomorrow, Sunday, And Pagan Origins is on Tuesday, December 24th. And all things portaltoascension.org. Well, that was amazing, very powerful as always. And we've got an incredible woman. She is just this big, bright light who every time she walks into the room, let alone into our online room, everything brightens up. And I am proud and delighted to have Hallelujah, Anasuya with us tonight. Welcome.
Thank you. What a wonderful gift to be able to, such sweet prasad, to be able to follow Neil. Wow, he just speaks to so many of the journeys that I have been on. And for me, it started with wanting to know the feminine face of God, because I just knew something wasn't right about the Trinity I was born into as a Black Baptist. So there is no feminine in Protestant, especially Black Baptists. There is no feminine anything. Mary's spoken of twice a year. Easter, he's a big deal then, and a little bit at Christmas, which is weird. So, you know, as a kid, I knew something wasn't right about that. How could there not be some kind of feminine face of God? I knew something was suspect about a father and son and a dove. So that sent me across many beautiful traditions and cosmologies and religions to where every one of them I went to, there was a feminine face of God. And I felt, I don't know, justified in leaving Christianity because I found myself at home with the Kabbalists, with the Buddhists, with the Hindus, with the Sufis, just everywhere I went, the Rosicrucians, everywhere I went, I was welcome, and everywhere I went, I saw my reflection. Different names, you know, different names. So when I studied with the Comedans, you know, it was Isis, or really Osset. And then, you know, went to Yoruba, and there's many goddesses there. So just to see how many ways that people have honored the sacred womb, the holy breast, the divine feminine face and body that we flowed out of, I just was so amazing. And after being on pilgrimage for almost 30 years, then I was introduced to the Black Madonna in Catholicism. And not being Catholic, I didn't know anything about the saints, and I didn't know anything about Black Madonnas. Well, I didn't even know about white Madonnas. So this was like, what? There is a feminine face of God in Christianity. Oh, I've been robbed. And then when I talked to my cousins who were Catholic, I said, why didn't you tell me about the Black Madonna? And they're like, we couldn't because we didn't know about her. And then I discovered so many, most Black Christians, but even a lot of white Catholics didn't know about Black Madonnas. So that was very intriguing to me. And I say this because it is, you know, I, just like Neil, saw the ways that Hinduism and Kabbalism and what became Christianity are such the same root. And the names changed depending on what region you're in, but they're all talking about the same few people or the same deities. And I find that very fascinating, to the point of such delight. So if you don't know me, which you probably don't, I don't know why I said it like that. You probably don't know me. But I am, I offer my services to God as a mystic midwife, which means I offer my channeling abilities, my art abilities, my creative abilities, most importantly, my channeling of the Divine Mother to those who are ready to be reborn. So I'm the midwife for that process. So I don't birth you, I don't carry you, but I put you back in mother's womb, and you to restart that divine connection that a mother has with the soul in her being. And then the two of you rebirth you in your own image, in your divine image, in your original image. And I love leading these processes that allow us to return, and more importantly, be reborn, free of all the labels we inherited, free of all the beliefs that we inherited, free from all of the limitations that we've been carrying for how many years we've been here. When you get reborn in this way, none of that matters unless you go back and get it. If you don't go back and get it, you are free of those things. So then, who are you? How do you remother yourself? How do you take care of you in the way that you deserve, that you might not have had in the first incarnation? But now that you are reborn, how will you mother you? How will you take care of you? How will you nourish you spiritually, physically, emotionally? How will you take care of you? So these are the journeys as the midwife, mystic midwife, that I am very grateful to be able to offer people, because the world needs people who have set their hearts free. And you're it. We all are it. We just may not know it. So there's been a lot of singing here tonight. There's been poetry tonight. And those are some of the ways that I bring forth Mother's message. You know, when I rediscovered the divine feminine face of God, she started to come to me. And she started to come to me and through me in messages. And first it was just what she told me her name was Mother God. And then it was later I was introduced to Black Madonnas, and Black Madonnas started to come through to me. And Black Madonnas are what the Christian church at the time renamed all of the earth mothers, all of the earth goddesses that have been there for tens of thousands of years, that were, when God was a woman, all of those earth goddesses that took on a name according to the region they were in and the people they were with, but it was all the same earth mother. And that is what the Christian church relabeled as Black Madonna, when people would not leave the mother that had served them, that kept them alive, that had protected them. When they wouldn't leave her and leave her temple, even at the risk of death, they started building their Christian churches on top of these temples, which is why in the cave, or in the, I don't want to say basement, well, in the bottom of most Catholic churches in Europe, you will find a Black Madonna in the basement, because that's where they built the church on top of her temple. And so they just renamed her Mary. But those people who worshiped her remembered her original name. And they called her original name. And a lot of times when you do research on those individual Black Madonnas in all across Europe, they'll tell you who she was before. And some churches hide it really well, so it really does depend. But she was someone else before the Christian church came over. And she was beloved. She was honored. She was cherished. People really trusted in her because she had kept them alive from every era, 50,000 years, 100,000 years, which is one of the reasons why I really appreciate the book, When God Was a Woman, because it goes into great details. And then you have scholars like Rian Eisler and so many others who have come and added to that research and really expanded on why, when archaeologists dig and find ways that our ancestors worship 15,000 years, 20,000 years ago, they always find goddesses. They find women with great breasts and great hips, because that represented fecundity, that represented fertility, that represented life to them. There were no male gods back then. So there's a lot of evidence that God was a woman for a very long time. Some say until 10,000 years ago, when it was replaced by a male god. Some say 6,000 years ago. So this idea of God as a masculine form is very new to the human evolution. It's very new, but very loud and very noisy and very violent. And so they have dominated our consciousness and our sense of beginnings. And the reason she was Black and all of those earth goddesses, because earth is fertile, the soil is earth, the soil is Black, the cosmos is Black. How babies got here was a mystery. How life formed was a mystery. Everything was a mystery. So Black wasn't seen as bad. Black was seen as the beginning of everything. Everything that was needed came out of the darkness, out of the rich blackness. So of course their goddess who took care of them would be that blackness. She represented all of that. And I find that so beautiful, because we come from we come from the stars, and then we fell through water to the water, and then we crawled out as microorganism after organism and to the land. So there is a cycle here. And so one of the things I'll share with you today is some paintings that I have made that represent some of this story. Scott, am I a co-host so I can share screen?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you.
You've got screen sharing privilege.
Lucky me.
And you know what? I want to add a couple of interesting things, just riffing on what you've been sharing.
Go ahead.
If we read Deepak Chopra talking about manifestation, it starts with the void. Everything begins in the darkness, in the blackness of the void.
Absolutely.
And that's another way of seeing the beauty of birth beginning in absolute darkness and blackness. Also, just a little bit about the Christian church. Amazing how the Christian church, the reason they chose Christmas and Easter, everybody knows Jesus was not born in December. If you date back to when people had to go and announce themselves to Rome, it was in the springtime. But they chose Christmas because the pagan holiday was at that time, so they wanted to usurp the pagan holiday. Same thing with Easter, so they built their churches on your temples. They usurped the Celtic tradition and made their big holidays around that time. So we have to remember that the primary Christian church were converted Romans, and they had that romantic conquer the world consciousness. And the great tragedy is that if the Essene Christians had become dominant, they were vegetarian, they were peaceful, they were all about embodying what Yeshua taught us. Anyway, I just wanted to toss that in while you pulled what we're pulling up.
Thank you. And I love that. Add on, because we're here to share what we've learned, what we've seen, what we've heard, and everyone has seen or heard something. So share. Okay, let me share screen. The first one I'll share is this. Okay, hold on. This bar is here. Move over. Oh, is it gone? Yeah, it's going. Okay. This is a painting I did called Yemaya, and she represents not only the Yoruba goddess Yemaya, who is the mother of all, so that their first mother, the mother who gave birth to creation. And I love it because her story captures what really happened. Because masculinity always writes the story. It wasn't a big bang and happened. It was the big water breaking. And when mother's water broke, we all fell from her womb as stardust and water, and put water on the earth, because there were no waters on the earth at that time. And all of the seas and oceans were created. And so there we were, sack of stars cooling off in the water. And then organisms start to crawl out and became the life forms that we are. So the story of Yemaya is how she created all of life out of the ocean. And so in this painting, we'll see the seashells and the 13 moons and the fish, because her children are called the fish. And one of her representations is mermaids. So that's here, there. And then the freedom of the dolphins, or the flying, the goddesses protecting life, these dolphins. And then if you see here, there's a door from her heart opening with the lights coming out, but also water's pouring out into her hand. And it's her hand that gives the nourishment of water to us on earth, that feeds us, that gives us the water of life. And so I love telling the stories through painting as well. because some people are visual and not verbal. And I think that's one of the great ways to reach people is through this. And this is a string of pearls because Yemaya is known for her great wisdom and her guidance. So these are pearls of wisdom. And so that's one painting. And then I'll go to the next one that tells a very similar story. Okay. Oh, here. I put them somewhere. Okay. I'm so sorry. They were right here, and then I moved them. Okay. So that's my confusion. I love me. What all my confusion?
While you're putting it together, Carol Craig, one of our wonderful global peace drivers, has actually put in the chat box some amazing images of the Black Madonna. So screen sharing them right now while you pull it together. And thank you, Carol, for putting these in the chat box. I've kind of put them on my desktop and look at them, right?
Oh, I love them. Yes, I know these ones.
Anasuya, right?
Yes, they're beautiful. Oh, some of my favorites are here. Thank you. Who's sharing them?
Carol Craig.
Carol Craig, thank you. Those are some of my favorite Black Madonnas. Okay, I'm ready for the next one in the storytelling moment.
Go for it.
Share. Okay, this one. So in this one, I'm sharing how the Black Madonna, who is the right, is also called the tree of life. So I have painted her as a strong tree with her roots firmly planted. And I have all these branches coming out of her with pomegranates on it. And but she's next to and connected to Mary Magdalene. Another form of the tree of life, another form of it. And so we have the 7 swords through Mother Mary's heart, but that's also through Mary Magdalene's heart. We have the helix of life coming from her heart. And over here, next to the Black Madonna, is the chalice that holds the holy blood, that holds the holy life, that holds everything. And so for me, these two are very connected in terms of how they were treated, how their images were not disrespected, how their story was disrespected. You know, they're very similar. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. But the bells mean truth is spoken. So, okay, I like that. So how the two are treated, because, you know, Mary Magdalene and her power as a goddess of her own right, of equal standing with the Yeshua power, you know, has been so diminished, and they had to dirty it up by saying she was a prostitute, which she wasn't. And the same way, Black Madonna's powers have been so diminished, and her role as the original mother of all life has been shortened and diminished and so obscured. And in Europe, so many of the Black Madonnas are being painted white so that it's really denied the history of who she is. And, you know, all it takes is one generation to forget what was there before. And in Aramaic, the Lord's Prayer doesn't say, "Our Father, who art in heaven, thy kingdom come, thy will be done." It actually says in Aramaic, "May thy queendom come, may thy will be done." And that's interesting translation that just changes the sex. But then again, the Holy Spirit is feminine. Then again, the wife of God has been made masculine. The Trinity, the Holy Spirit, is a dove, not even masculine, it's an animal. So why wouldn't they change this too? And one of the things that she says in her gospel is, "That which was hidden from you, I will reveal." And so, which is why this figure in the middle is pointing to the mouths of both of these to say, listen to the women. Listen to representation coming through women. And the being in the middle is Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, listen to my mother and listen to my beloved, listen. And so it's his heart, but Jesus knows he came from this sacred womb. He knows he sprang from this dark, deep, mysterious womb. And so all of the waters of life are coming out of him. But what are they doing? They're going back into a circular motion, back to the source. And it's watering both the Sacred Heart and it's watering the roots of the Black Madonna, that tree of life, so that this cyclical and it's healing, so that we may know where we come from and who we are. So that tradition is there. And so the last two I'll share, I know where they are this time. So I'm going to get them very clear so that you can see. Okay, now let me go back to share. I forgot to share the screen first. Share screen. Okay, let's see. Again, this is another style that I created, is called Heart Heads, which is my way of saying let love lead and not your mind, not the rules, not what you're told. What happens if your heart is actually leading the way? You know, and so again, with this theme of the waters, the holy waters that flow through us, that are in us. I mean, we're 80% water for a reason, because we came from that original explosion, that water breaking. And it's a reminder that we came from that holy water, turned into the ocean and came out of the ocean, and to back to mother we go. And so it says, out of the ocean of bliss, love rises. And so when we are in our divine wholeness and our completion, it's very natural for us to find and attract someone equally in alignment and in their body and in their wholeness, remembering who they are. And so love rises from knowing who we are and where we came from. And so the last one I'll share is, nope, that's not it. Hold on, know where they are. Okay. So this one, again, is the oceans, that those sacred waters flowing with us and through us. What do they bring? They bring us that safety, that security, that sense of belonging, that sense of oneness that we are. And so this one is called In Your Arms I Soar, because they're in the water, and of the water, but also separate, whole and complete. And that their heart is the sun, and the sun is their heart. And so we are love.
Beautiful.
So,
honestly, thank you so much for giving us this other expanded vision, which is so important. And we keep, part of an awakening world is just keep expanding our consciousness, both remembering what has been lost from the past and connecting it to the future. And we're going to hopefully be doing a very special event with Hallelujah Anasuya, which we're beginning to plan that now. But for now, I want to direct everybody to her link tree. I think by now most everybody knows about a link tree. It's linktr.ee/Hallelujah Anasuya. I love saying it. And that's where you can discover, people who use Linktree are people like Anasuya, who are doing so many things. They've got music, they've got books, they've got programs, they've got YouTubes, they've got all sorts of stuff. And she certainly is right along those lines. So you can find things here on Zoom. You can find things on YouTube. You can hear her podcast about the Black Madonna, YouTube conversation about embracing our darkness together, and many, many other things. So is there one particular one you'd like me to open up and show people?
Well, oh boy, why not the top one?
The very top is the Embrace of the Dark Mother. This is, and we definitely want to follow you. Absolutely.
Well, that one, sorry, the one underneath it, that one's it's a course you could have taken with me, and I think I have the recording of it so that you can still take it.
Okay.
But Yeah, that one's.
Oh, that's
darn
a
it.
happy read.
Okay, I gotta update my link tree. I see that. Okay.
Hey, you know what I'm going to go to? I'm going to go to
Love it.
this.
I know that one's there.
This is old because Antoinette is with us.
Yes.
And so this is a good example. This is
Yes.
one of the wonderful videos that you did with us previously.
Yes.
Celebrating the spirit of Ubuntu. And Antoinette is in the house, and we're going to introduce her in about 30 minutes, because we still have another guest before that. But and she actually was celebrating what you were talking about. Hallelujah. Here's her quote. Antoinette, just a few minutes ago, wrote, "It's all about the queendom. It is the rise of the divine feminine." And you are really helping to do that for us. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I love you so much and look forward to a very special event with you in March.
Yes, because it's definitely needed in this time, this season.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, that's quite a back-to-back between Neil and Hallelujah Anasuya. So to just integrate a little bit before we meet our next guest, Linda Shay, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, our wonderful Omashar.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas, I hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young. A merry, merry Christmas and a happy new year. Let's hope it's a good one, without any fear. And so this is Christmas, for weak and for strong, for rich and for poor ones. The road is so long, and so happy Christmas, for black and for white, for yellow and red ones. Let's stop all the fight. Merry, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one, without any fear. And so this is Christmas, and what have we done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so happy Christmas, we hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas and New Year. Let's hope it's a good one, without any fear. War is over if you want it. War is over now. War is over if you want it. War is over now. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one, without any fear. Let's hope it's a good one, without any fear.
Let's go to gallery view. And Omashar, there's some beautiful comments coming into the chat box. Dr. All right, war is over, my favorite refrain.
I know, it's amazing to think that that was thought of all those so last century. Just envision that it doesn't exist anymore, and past that, take your mind off it completely. But this is a good stepping stone. So thank you, John and Yoko. We love you.
Absolutely. I love you. And we'll see you in a little while. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. All right, we are going to meet a new friend. This is Linda Shay. She was referred to us by Mayor Cromwell. You remember Mayor, who was on maybe a month ago. And Linda is a dolphin ambassador for Joyful Living. She gathers pods of awakening humans to receive gifts of healing and higher consciousness from dolphin, whale, and star consciousness. And these gifts result in an evolutionary leap in human consciousness. So welcome to the awakening world, Linda. And I'm really eager to learn about the work that you're doing and how it's transforming our planet.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Mayor, thank you Mayor, you're here. I thank you so much for suggesting me to Scott. And I don't know how I didn't know about Global Peace Tribe. Actually, Scotty Satori has been talking about you all, and this is my first introduction, and you guys are amazing. I love the vibe. I feel like I'm right at home. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's good to have you here. Tell us about what you're doing, what you're learning, and
Well, let's start. I have kind of a little potpourri of things that I want to share with you. And I thought, even though my work is not with the physical dolphins, my work is with them in spirit and consciousness. I live in Hawaii and I am blessed to sometimes swim with them. I recently got a GoPro and I took some underwater footage. I want to share a little clip with you all. I don't know how many of you have been blessed to swim with dolphins in the wild, but there's something that they do sometimes with us is play the leaf game. So the humans will go in with leaves, and it's a way that the dolphins and the humans can interact and play games with one another. And I caught this on film. So let me share this with you to bring the dolphin energy in a very playful way. And I'm going to share screen. Optimize for video. Okay. Here we are. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, but there's a big gray box.
Yeah, you need to take off the optimize for video.
Oh, really? Take it off.
Yeah, it's only if you have a 4K video you need to use
that. Oh, thank you. Okay, I learned something new all the time.
Me too. I hope it works.
What about share sound? Do I keep share sound on?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's try this again. How are we now?
Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that was my very first time in the water with my dolphins with my GoPro, and they wanted to give me something really special. They like to ham it up in front of the camera. They totally know what they're doing. So yes, the dolphins gave me that title, Dolphin Ambassador. I had been, like so many of us, we had our careers before we started waking up, and I was a banker. And I was living in Sedona, Arizona, the desert. I didn't consider myself connected to dolphins. I didn't even have much of an ocean connection that I was aware of. I loved the mountains and the wildflowers. I was definitely a land girl. So when all of the sudden, seemingly all of the sudden, I started getting signs and messages about dolphins, it was very curious. And I literally walked across my townhouse one day and I yelled out to the universe, what is it about the dolphins? I'm in the desert. I don't get it. And about a week later, I found myself sitting at a little coffee shop in Sedona, speaking to a psychic who was going to give me a $5 5-minute psychic reading. She looked into my eyes and closed her eyes and opened her eyes and yelled, dolphins. You need to go to them, be with them, swim with them, be healed by them. And she just went on for 5 minutes without taking a breath. Meanwhile, I had just come from living in Hawaii for a short period of time. And it's like, that was so not my self-view. I perceived that whole dolphin thing at the time as being a trendy new age woo-woo thing. So I'm thinking to myself, nope, not me, not me, not me. And the girlfriend that I was with had tears running down her face. So when the reader was done, I looked at my friend and I said, why are you crying? And she said, first of all, I'm going to lose you again. You're going to leave again. And secondly, she said, Linda, I saw you turn into a dolphin right in front of me. And the reader said, I was totally talking to a dolphin. And I thought, you guys are crazy. And so when my friend and I left the restaurant that night, I said, I had been on a journey. I had had a life tragedy happen, and it pulled the rug out from under me. My life changed in a heartbeat. And I was just on a journey for a couple of years of simply following spirit. I had a little bit of money put away from my corporate work, and I just let myself be, follow spirit, heal, do my grieving. And lo and behold, I'm being told to come to Hawaii to swim with the dolphins. So I said to my friend that night, I'm not going to make anything to make this trip happen. It literally has to make itself happen for me to do this. 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to Hawaii. And the very first day I was here, I had an encounter with a pod of about 85 wild Hawaiian spinner dolphins. I was by myself with them for 2 hours, which does not happen. And during that 2 hours, I had one encounter with one dolphin. He was swimming, I was swimming at the surface, and he was below and behind me. My head looked down, and as soon as I made eye contact with him, he swam at full speed. My body went vertical in response, and I opened my eyes under the water, and here's this dolphin right in front of me. I could have reached out and touched him. We were vertically aligned, and it was so unexpected. I burst out laughing, and of course, water's flooding my mask. I didn't want to get up. It was just this dolphin's looking right at me, but I got up, and as I was surfacing to clear my mask, he sonared me. He made the clicking sounds. And when I left the water that evening, I was just floating on a cloud. I was so blissed out. There was one other man staying at the retreat center where I was staying, and he was a practicing Buddhist. So we talked. He had swum with them with friends the day before. So we talked for a few minutes. And then at breakfast the next morning, he came up to me and he said, Linda, when we were talking last night, the dolphins transmitted their energy through you into me. And I'm like, what? And I felt this shimmer go through my whole body, and I heard inside, listen to him, he speaks the truth. I didn't know what to make of it. So what ended up happening, I found out later, was in that one interaction, that was a spiritual initiation that I was given by that dolphin that enabled me to become a vehicle for their healing energy and for their consciousness. And then spontaneous things just started happening with people. I would say the word dolphin. Many people would feel energy moving through their body. They would feel spontaneous healing. Some people would get shivers, and I'd sit down and meditate with them, hold hands, and bring the dolphin energy through. And they have profound experiences. And I thought, well, this is really cool, but I live in Sedona. So what does this have to do with my life? And I returned to Sedona, and as I was hiking on the land, and this red rock beckoned for me to sit. So I just sat and I went into silence. And this pristine energy approached from the right. And I heard, will you become one of our ambassadors on land and do dolphin energy healing as your career? So this was in 1996, 30 years ago. I hadn't heard of anybody doing that work. I didn't know what it meant. But I had enough experiences just saying the word dolphin to people that I didn't even know, and having instantaneously the connection between us deepen to a level of intimacy that was like unbelievable. And all of a sudden they're sharing their life with me. So I became aware that the word dolphin and dolphin energy creates this field of safety that allows people to open up. So I had enough of those experiences that I said yes to this invitation to become their ambassador. And in that moment, I felt my other spiritual teachers step away, and the dolphin swam in. And that began a 7-year journey of healing, transformation, and metamorphosis that took place while I was living in Sedona, Arizona. So it was an interdimensional journey guided by the dolphin consciousness. I was in their field the entire time for 7 years. What resulted, it was a profound journey, and thankfully somebody did come into my life. A man came into my life, and we were living together, and he held space for me, and he bore witness to my journey. And there were so many things that happened that I thought I was going crazy. I mean, we can all relate to this on our spiritual journey. Things happen that can't be explained. I had physiological things happen. My head changed shape to the degree that in Amsterdam, a security agent took my passport, and from across the way yelled over, the structure of your face is completely changed. So I had to get a new passport photo, and that was because of the dolphin work. They changed my head, a whole bunch of stuff. What happened at the end of the 7 years, I had an awakening. January 2003, I woke up one morning brand new. I just had the knowing that I was brand new. Prior to that, I had what I thought was a flu for about 5 weeks, but it was a total cleansing from the inside out. So the first day I woke up without any symptoms, I was brand new. I had no fear. My fear had been up really big time leading up to this because I felt something big on the horizon. And I wanted to stay small and safe. I wanted to stay in my comfort zone. But the fears were gone. I was being invited to do my work in the world in new ways. And I was saying yes without inhibition. And I was kind of outside of my body watching myself give a talk at a church about dolphins and joy and having no inhibitions at all. I was just totally free. It was intoxicating. And it was as if after many days of that, and David was my husband at the time, he kept saying, "Who are you and what have you done with my wife?" Because the change in me was really, it was completely 180-degree change. And so what it felt like was I was being lifted up on a magic carpet and I was being moved through my life with grace. It was just profound. So what we found out afterwards is that the dolphins had done an experiment on me that they had only done with 3 other humans on the planet. I don't know who the other people are. I don't know if their journey completed, but mine completed. And what drove it, what drove my perseverance was in the beginning, because I didn't know anything about them, I was a blank slate, right? I didn't have any preconceived ideas about who they were, what they were here to do for us. So, lost my train of thought. When I became exposed to their love, it was a quality of love that I experienced nowhere else. And it was a quality of love that filled me up totally and completely. So that was my driving force. I wanted to be that quality of love 24/7, not just when I was meditating, not just when I was doing healings, I wanted to be that quality of dolphin love in my human body. And it made no sense logically. But that was what kept driving me forward on the journey and persevering through the hard times, because I was a master resistor. And then my life would fall apart when I was in resistance. And then the dolphins would come back onto my path and I would be lit up again, 100%. So they had done an experiment. They wove an aspect of their dolphin consciousness with my human consciousness and created a brand new quality of consciousness on Earth. And it was told to me, it's not a rebirth. It literally is a new birth, that I emerged a new being on Earth. And so something like that is never meant for just one person. It's meant for whoever's called to it. So now my work is gathering people. We do it now over Zoom. We used to have a dolphin school that we traveled and taught for 8 years. But I gather people on Zoom to receive this gift of dolphin consciousness. It's and it does result in an evolutionary leap of humanity. So that's in a seashell. That's my story. And there's also some things that I want to do to make this experiential.
Okay.
Did you want to ask me something, Scott?
Nope. Just
Okay.
coming in. Yep. Thank you. So we are running a little bit late.
Okay.
So we need to
wrap it up.
Yep.
So let me just do the very first teaching that I received from the dolphins is love heals, joy transforms. And they are, I think everyone agrees that the dolphins are living embodiments of divine love and divine joy. So one of the things that we do in our program is I create a frequency of joy magic circle. I'm going to bring the frequency of joy up. And I'm going to have, there's so much joy already in this field that I would like to have us all consciously activate this frequency of joy, because joy is the highest consciousness state that we can attain. And the dolphins continually affirm to me that the best service that any of us can do for ourselves and for the planet is to be in joy. Now, the joy I'm talking about is not the emotion of joy that comes and goes. It's the ever-present frequency of joy. So I'm going to bring up this magic circle. It's not really big on the screen, but I hope you can see it well enough. Okay.
You see it? The frequency of joy.
So for those of you who want to do this, I like to do this standing up because then my whole body energy can receive it. Otherwise, sitting is fine. All together, we're going to have our awareness on the magic circle. I also like to envision it underneath me, above me, all around me, and inside of me. And we're going to say all together out loud, frequency of joy, field activate. All together, frequency of joy, field activate.
Frequency of joy, field activate.
And then just relax. And notice what you're experiencing. Notice how your being is receiving this frequency, and I invite every cell and space in my body to receive this joy energy. Remembering that love heals and joy transforms. So this is a transformative frequency. And now let's pulse it out as a community to the entire planet, to our human family, to all of life that resides within and upon planet Earth. Let's pulse it out. And a gazillion spirit dolphins are accompanying that pulse, surrounding the planet, going into the planet with their love and joy. Beautiful.
Oh, Linda, thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're
You know,
welcome.
it's true. It's, well, everything you're saying is true. I've had the good fortune to swim with dolphins, and it is life transforming.
Yeah.
I do believe, you know, their brains are so much larger than ours, and their consciousness is so much greater. And I do believe, you know, you talked about getting sonared. I experienced that. I experienced that the dolphin I was interacting with, and I interacted quite a bit for a long time with this dolphin. I could feel it sending me its information, sending me something. It was lovingly reprogramming my brain.
Yes. 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 Beautiful.
And joy, you know, it's okay, everybody, for us to experience joy. You know, we live in this, most of us were raised in a Judeo-Christian tradition that was very puritanical. A lot of suffering, a lot around suffering. And it's kind of like joy gets squashed in most households and in most cultures even. And so joy is beautiful, and may we all practice and cultivate joy. So you are an ambassador of joy.
Yes.
Absolutely, and I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank
And,
you.
and I want people to know where you can learn much more about her. It's a very easy website to remember. It's dolphinheart.world. Dolphinheart.world. And yes, we are all ready for an evolutionary. That's why we watch The Awakening World.
That's right.
Here, learn all about Linda, more about her story, beautiful sharings. And is there anything in particular that you want to make sure people know about? Do you have a upcoming event or?
Actually, I do. And this event is not even on the website. So I'm happy to have the opportunity to share. I'm leading the first in-person retreat here on the Big Island that I've done in years in February. So if there's anybody who feels the island calling, who wants to be with a small gathering of conscious dolphin and whale lovers, we're going to be experiencing the sacredness of the land and the water and Pele, the volcano. It's going to be really special. So if anybody out there feels like they need to be there, let me know. Get in touch.
And what are the dates, Linda?
It's February 16th to the 22nd, right
February
before whale
16th.
season.
Okay, February 16 to 22,
Yeah.
and they can reach you through your website.
Yes.
Okay. Linda, thank you so much. One of the comments coming in, I'm going to read actually a few of them. Laura says, I love that feeling of echolation from the dolphins. It absolutely opens your heart chakra. Carol writes, the joy dolphins bring is difficult to describe. It's contagious, and the laughter they allow us to experience is magical. And speaking of laughter, we actually received a request from George Noble asking if you would giggle for us again.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Thank you, George. That's very sweet.
I think in the 5 years I've been doing the show, that's the first time someone's asked me to giggle. So, but, your giggle, like George pointed out, does indeed really show us your joyfulness.
That's
The
sweet.
joy comes through in that giggle, so it's very beautiful. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. And stick around, we've got a little bit more. And we're going to be hearing from someone in Africa. There's so many wonderful connections that take place, and we're all kind of interacting with each other. Unity Earth and the Evolutionary Leaders Network and Global Coherence Pulse and the Awakening World and Global Peace Tribe. We all kind of mix and match. And I'm going to bring one of our favorite people, Antoinette Hall, up. There she is, Antoinette Rootsdawtah. Antoinette, welcome back to the Awakening World. And I'm going to bring up your friend and let you introduce us to Emily.
Okay, so it's Antoinette Rootsdawtah because Hall is the government name. That's the reason why I keep going by Rootsdawtah. And I would like to introduce my good friend, Emily Kaminski. And Emily actually is someone that I started working with from earlier on this year with our Ubuntu projects. And because of her, I mean, it's really amazing. I mean, we've done a lot of work in Africa. We've been working with a lot of individuals and a lot of organizations and a lot of people. But when I met her and I started working with her, it's like we really started to take off. This is what we talk about when we say Ubuntu to the world, because she single-handedly has helped so many people in Africa. And that's why I said it's like each one can teach one, each one can help one. And we shouldn't have to be doing all of this work alone by ourselves, by our individual selves. That is why we need the spirit of Ubuntu to bring everybody involved, because we are stronger together. So I want her to explain to you guys, to tell you guys a little bit about Nakivali and about the work that she's been doing with them and some of her other projects. But this one is like kind of like our special heart, and you're going to hear a lot of amazing things that we're going to be doing in 2025. So go ahead, take it away, Emily.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you for that very sweet introduction. I'm going to try not to be too shy. So my name is Emily Kaminski. I live in the Boston area in the United States. Nice to meet everybody. I professionally am in community development finance, so I'm sort of banker light, Linda. I work for like a nonprofit bank, but in my volunteer sort of heart of hearts, human on the earth world, I am an artist, a creative, and I'm also drawn to, I always wanted to be a diplomat when I was younger, and then I realized what actual diplomats do, and then I decided that wasn't really my calling, but I think I actually am in some ways connecting with people in a very sort of heart-to-heart way, a very Emily way. And my way of doing that has always been to work with refugees stateside. But then also I've been supporting permaculture projects in Africa, which has led me to support refugees specifically in Uganda. It's a long story how I got there, but this year specifically, I was introduced to some wonderful young artists in the Nakivali refugee settlement in southern Uganda. This is, you might think the refugees is a temporary home, but some people have been living there for decades. It's a very old settlement in Uganda that was, I believe it was started in the 1950s. It's home to 170,000 refugees from 13 countries, mostly East African, mostly from the Democratic Republic of Congo, fleeing the war there. Others from Burundi and Rwanda. They live on less than $5 a month. There's no health care. There are very few economic opportunities, but there is this wonderful group of young artists that reached out to me sort of randomly. Their leader, Akon DeGrasse, just took my heart and stole it. And ever since then, I have been helping them. They're basically an artist collective of 15 young individuals between the ages of 15 and 22, and they also teach art and music, guitar, modeling, even to over 100 children ages 5 to 22, all on their own. So this summer I taught art classes to a family locally. That was just a random thing. Somebody said, "Do you teach art?" I've never taught art before. And I said, "Sure, why not?" And she decided she would pay me to do it all summer. And I took that money and I helped the artists in Naki Valley Refugee Settlement build a new art education center, which they opened up in August. And through that whole journey, I've been collaborating with Antoinette and Ubuntu on online art expos to really share the art of these young individuals with the world, including trying to actually sell it and get it shipped here. Both Antoinette and I are proud, I don't know, hosts, feels weird to say owners, but proud hosts of art from Naki Valley. And we did an auction. It's really so close.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, how about, that's beautiful. Why don't I play the video where we can meet Akon, okay? And then it'll all make a lot more sense. So do you want to just briefly say who, well, I think it's in the video, so we're good, we're good. Here we go.
This is really exciting. We learned about the work that Emily is doing with Akon and others through our good friend Antoinette, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago. And so we're following up, and Akon is coming to us from all the way across the world. Emily's in Boston. And welcome to the Awakening World. And please share with us what you are doing.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's great to be here with you and Akon, who's in the Naki Valley Refugee Settlement in Uganda. I'll just say a few words and then I'll turn it over to Akon. So I'm one of Akon's fans. He is an entrepreneur, an artist, a mover and a shaker, a change maker, looking to bring art to everybody who he touches for the better. And so he and I have collaborated this year on 2 online young artist expos to show the world all the creativity that the artist collective he works with offers. And he also runs an art education center that I helped him build this summer. So Akon, we'd love to hear more about your work. Your turn.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sky. Thank you, Emily, for this great opportunity that you have given me. By the way, my name is Akon DeGrasse. I'm a young entrepreneur, a young change maker here in Akiba Refugee Settlement as a refugee since 2012 from the heart of Congo. So I live in Congo in 2012 with my humble family because of the war. Directly, I come here in Naki Valley as a refugee, where that I was believing that there's no tomorrow, that tomorrow it does not exist because of life that I was living, life of running every day. But I thank God now who I am because I've created something and I'm trying to make impact here in Naki Valley. I'm trying to change life of my fellow refugees, where that are becoming a hope, that where that I'm trying to promote hope to the hopeless refugees. I'm a founder and CEO at Young Talent Community Organization. It is a non-profit organization existing as a refugee community-based organization, which is working hard every day to promote talent and skills of refugee child, youth, women, and teenage mother here in Akiva Refugee Settlement. We are focusing on art education, where we have built an free art education. Also, we are grateful for offering our community free Wi-Fi that is helping our community to get internet. Also, not only art, also we are trying to support innovative education support, because by this year we have make a big impact and a big difference by supporting some schools with art materials, where that we are showing them that art has the power of changing the world, and yes, it can change the world if you understand it, and if you love it too, it can change your world. And believing in humanity, where we say Ubuntu, I am because we are because I am. It is a great day and it is a great moment to be here. Actually, as Akon, I'm very happy. It's not only education, art education we are focusing on. We are focusing on also on music. Also, we want to integrate community through music and change lives and become game changers for our fellow refugees. Thank you.
Beautiful. And is there a way that maybe you can show us a little bit of some of what you're doing? And then we're going to go live. This, of course, is pre-recorded, and take a look at some actual artwork that some of our members can buy. But Emily, maybe show us. Yeah.
Yes. So one of the easiest ways to find out more about Akon's group, we will have an opportunity to share his Facebook page, but I write on Substack, which is a platform similar to Medium and other writing platforms. It's called the Creative Convergence. And I set up a special section called the Refugee Artist Support Circle that specifically chronicles the work of Young Talent Community in collaboration with Akon. So for instance, like every month I have a new story that's up here. And so you can follow along and subscribe and learn what's going on with Akon in the group. So here, as you can see, we've done some infrastructure improvements, including the community Wi-Fi. So you can check out all of the ways not only to support them, but also things that we have done. Actually, Antoinette was very instrumental in making sure that these 2 latrines were built to make sure that, in a hand washing station, to make sure that everybody has sanitation. You can see Manase here, who is one of the students at Young Talent Community. He's 14, very talented with his brother Moise. They are using community Wi-Fi. We set up, in collaboration with a local chairman there, we set up a router inside and an antenna that allows for everybody in the community in a 50-meter radius to access free Wi-Fi, which is a life changer because everybody needs to stay connected, to be safe and develop community, but it's expensive to purchase data. This is free Wi-Fi. So here's where you can learn more about them. And you can see all that's going on, as well as some videos. This is a 5-minute tour that Akon produced, and I put it on my YouTube channel. So lots of information here. And here are some of the stories that they're writing that we're going to be distributing as mini zines for the children in the community. And then I just would like to go back up briefly to this page where, and we'll go more into this in detail for sure, but there is an art gallery. A couple pages up here show you the kinds of art that the older artist facilitators, there's 15 of them that are basically the teachers and facilitators for over 100 children. This is the work that they have produced. And these are large paintings, acrylic on canvas, that are available both as originals as well as prints through a Redbubble site, which we'll share later.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so we are providing free art education to more than 106 chats at Nakiva Young Talent Community, at Art Education Center. And last month we were having 80 child, but now because they are out of schools, now there's 106 child, and every day number is growing. Actually, we are very happy for that, to see that our community is enjoying and it is participating in the community, and we hope that tomorrow. They are building their future of tomorrow because we believe that they are the leaders of tomorrow. We cannot make it more, but young people can make it more than us. We are dreaming a better world where everybody will live an independent life. Yeah.
Absolutely. You are creating a better world. And it's a joy to highlight you. And what I'm going to also do is I'll show that 5-minute video that you mentioned. And we are going to now take a look at some of the actual prints that people can purchase. So Akon, I will look forward to meeting you at one of our meetings of New Generation Leaders for an Awakening World. And Emily, thank you so much for the great support you're providing these people. And it's really quite beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yes, Scott. Yo, like I was saying, if we did not get those toilets, I mean, I was in Japan at the time. I was praying like a mad monk, on that hill when Krista was singing. I was praying, 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 praying because that boy nearly died, you know. And when I'm sitting there, so in case you guys don't know, so this is one of the announcements I wanted to make. I will be heading back over. I will be going to Naka Valley in February. This will be after we do our release, after MLK Day, after everything else. We're on a mission. We're going to do a site assessment. We're going to see what's going on over there. And then, you guys will all know how you guys can come in to help. I'm glad that they're being part of the leaders. I'm glad that the evolutionary leaders too with the artist circle is going to also be coming in to help us so that we can mentor these youth and children. So I'm just glad for the whole collaboration. And Anasuya, she's in there too. She's in there too. Come on, let's show, girl. Before we do the MLK. Let's do it again. Ubuntu.
Well, since you brought, there is Anasuya, who's now a member of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle and part of Artists Catalyzing Evolution.
Hallelujah.
And speaking of Artists Catalyzing Evolution, the woman who put that together, our den mother, is also with us. And I think some of you might know Kristin Hoffmann. Welcome to the Awakening World.
Oh, it's so good to be here. I'm just feeling so inspired again. I mean, Emily and Antoinette, thank you for what you're doing. Anasuya, you do so much beautiful work. And Scott, of course. I mean, but this is so inspirational. I can't even wait to see the art again. I know you were going to show it to us, but thank you. My heart's just blown wide open.
This is such a gift that Emily and Antoinette are offering us, a gift to be more human, more humane, to be more loving, to be more kind, to be able to make a difference in a child's life. Yes. They're in a refugee camp from 13 countries. That means no home. Half of them lost their family, if not all of their family. These are children surviving on their own, and they never had bathrooms until they came along.
They do have bathrooms, just not at the center.
This is why it's a divine feminine time. This is the rise of divine feminine. And going back to what you guys was talking about earlier, they've already been talking about it. We've been talking about it for years. It's the age of Aquarius. It is a rise of divine feminine. And then something that they had mentioned earlier, because when we were talking about Christ's missing years and everything else, y'all did not know, just like Scott said, Jesus was born in August. And guess who else said that besides the Urantia book? The Ethiopian Orthodox Christian.
That's right. It's in the original Bible. That's right.
Yes, it's our pop lock. And I'm telling you, the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible was first done by the Ethiopians, the first Christian churches in Ethiopia. So you was there, Kristin. You was there, and you saw.
You could just feel that it was tapped. I mean, I am so grateful that we got to be there. You could feel the power, the deep energy there. That like everything was preserved. You could feel the preservation of the ancient word and the materials and that it was still so authentically connected.
And she saw, so when we were in the churches, when we went to the churches in Lalibela, these churches were the first churches built before any churches was ever built in Europe. This is how you know they
Even
lied
in
about
Israel, the
everything.
first
Before
church.
any churches was ever built in Europe, these churches was in Ethiopia. And when you go into these churches and you find these paintings of the Madonna and of the Christ, they're totally different. But you know what they do? They took all these Da Vinci paintings and all these European paintings, all these new ones, and they put them in the front. And I seriously, I asked them, I said, dude, why are you guys putting these ones up front instead of the original ones? And they said they did it for the tourists to make them feel better. For the European tourists that came over there to make them feel better, and that continued indoctrination all over the world. So going back to the rise of divine feminine, because it is a feminine energy, so and it is time and everything. So you're seeing all these women that are getting tapped, and men, because it's not just the feminine energy is not only for feminine, the men are getting tapped too. So all this balance is coming in, and all these women are waking up, and all these things are happening, and all these changes are happening, and it's a good thing. It's really, really a good thing. I'm really excited. I'm really, really hopeful. And like I said, sorry, Kristin, I had to leave the Zoom room because I saw exactly what was happening, and that energy was crazy. But you see what happened when we rinsed out when that Black Madonna and Christ all throughout here? I was like, that made up for everything. That made up for everything because people have no idea what's going to be coming, which is the truth. And Africa is on the rise, and everything is waking up, and all this truth and knowledge and everything is coming out and is going into balance. So I'm not worried about nothing because I see the future and I see the possibilities. And what you see, what we're going to do when we turn that refugee settlement with our little Ubuntu hub, because we can't take on a whole 180,000 people. But what you see, what Emily and I are going to embark on, and Kristin and Anasuya,
I'll be there.
Powerhouse women start to come in, because I'm so glad you're here, Kristin, because Omashar, because the next thing that we're going to do with the music is our Ubuntu to the World song that we're creating together. All of us together. World. Ubuntu to the world. Yeah, see? We're on a mission.
Hey, I want to let people know how people can get this artwork. And
Yes.
here's this is one of the ones that Emily put into the chat box just now. But for all of our friends watching on Facebook and YouTube, tell us a little bit about this piece of art, Emily, and then we'll go to the website of where how this artwork.
Sure. So this is one of the pieces. It's actually one of three, I believe. I think there's a fourth that's being produced by a young man named Kareem Sharon, and we just call him Sharon. And he's developed this. This is sort of his particular style, where all of his people are also like plant people. And this one, I shared a song with him called "My Name Is Love," and which has beautiful lyrics, and it's written by, I don't know, heavy metal guy named Bruce Dickinson, but it's a beautiful song. Sent it to him, and it was a way of us connecting. So we share music a lot. All of us share music, and this is what he produced out of it. And to me, this is so just in the topic of masculine and feminine coming together, and there being this amazing white light behind them. A lot of his paintings in this particular series have this style of like almost an aura around their heads. And this is just something that he has developed himself. He's also somebody who has really incorporated the feminine, just women into his paintings. In fact, Antoinette has two of them. And when he describes them, he says, those are me. Very, very connected to that sort of feminine part of him. So I just thought I'd share that because I thought it was so amazing. We can't see it, Antoinette.
Antoinette, can you take off your background, your virtual background?
Okay. All right. All right, let me move. One
That'll
second.
make it a little easier.
Okay, let me just come over
There's
here.
a chorus I'd like to sing. The first verse of a song that is so pertinent to this, what's been shared about these children and what difference we can make for each one of these children to actually survive the camps and have a life outside of the camps one day. And so while she's doing that, Spirit just said to share it. So I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how it used to be. Everyone is searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I've never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me.
Wow.
I
Oh, it's my
find
favorite.
the greatest love of all inside of me. And may they find it, may we find it, may we share it, may we save as many children as we can. And this art is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Anasuya, for the beautiful song. Thank you, Antoinette, for modeling some of those paintings. And this is where people can order them. If you go to redbubble.com/people/rainmaker/design/shop. We'll, of course, put that in the chat box.
Please do.
But
It's too many words.
but I also want to leave it up for the people watching on Facebook and YouTube. So again, it's redbubble.com/people/rainmaker/design/shop. And that's where we can see, look at all this beautiful, beautiful artwork. And anything you'd like to add, Antoinette or Emily, about this website?
I just wanted to say that it is Redbubble. They do take a cut. It's not the best scenario. We do hope to have a better scenario for merchandise in the future. It's sort of what we have now, but it's a very quick way that you can make a difference. We actually raised $125 by selling merchandise in order to support their holiday party coming on this Tuesday. So it does work. If you wanted to support by purchasing an original, then either contact Antoinette. If everybody knows here how to get in touch with Antoinette, contact her and we can organize that. We now know how to actually get the art out. We know how much it costs to ship. We've shipped to Australia, to the US, to Italy. We have a sense of what it costs. And basically the artists get, I think their scenario or their arrangement is the artists get, it's either 20 or 30%, and then the rest of it goes back into the organization. So as a collective, the artists receive, but they also contribute some of the sale to their collective.
Right. That's
Yeah.
that's what, yeah, because we decided, like, if we're going to move forward into an Ubuntu type situation and we're going to be creating Ubuntu hubs in Africa, it's practicing the principles, that whatever they make, and it's also for themselves, but it's also about going back into the community and to the sharing. The concept of just like, I have mine and you get yours, whoever is like, that's what's causing the detriment and the downfall or the problems, situated in Africa, where they all want to be like the West so badly. But it's like, why do you have to be like the West? Why can't you be like yourselves? Because what you were doing as yourself was just so beautiful and so amazing and so supportive. And that's something that you really see. Like when people see the film, they always sit there and say, it's like, I love that concept of Ubuntu. And they wish they had that concept of Ubuntu here in America, or where they in their own local communities, because people are just so supportive. And people think it's like, how can you support somebody else without returning anything? It's like, it is a privilege. It is an honor. It is my joy. It brings me joy. And we're all happy then, not just one person or just one thing, So I'm really excited about this. And then when we go, so like moving into that, this documentary is going to be released in January. And once it gets released and we start bringing that message all over, I think you're going to really start to see a lot of changes everywhere. Everybody can join and be a part of this movement and participate and create something.
Beautiful. Well, we are going to be really following you a lot because we're going to really kick off the whole month of January, the Evolutionary Leaders Circle and many related organizations. We're celebrating nonviolence. And it's all going to get kicked off on January 15th with Pato and Antoinette and MLK Day. And the Spirit of Ubuntu release is happening. So we're going to be doing a lot of focus on what you're doing. And now that I know you're going back to Africa, definitely keep us in tune. Let's come onto the show periodically. Let people know how they can donate, how they can support, because this is really important. And it's so cool that Kristin's here because Kristin and I both really had a big vision for the Evolutionary Leaders Circle to make it more diverse, both in terms of youth and in terms of race and color. And we've now started a synergy group of, we're calling it the New Generation of Leaders for an Awakening World. And Akon is going to join that group. It's a wonderful global group. We've got young people from Europe, from Africa, from North America, South America, and now Akon is going to be joining us, I think, next Friday. So, and more of the people as you meet them, Antoinette, as you travel and meet these young people, please connect them with us so we can bring them into that synergy group, which is part of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle.
Oh, definitely. There's, because a lot of people don't understand, but in Uganda, majority of the population is actually under 30. You don't see any old folks there. You don't see no gray hair. You don't see no senior citizens. You don't see any of that stuff. So there's a lot of young people. What I did put in the chat, this is going to be the international pre-launch watch party. So even though we're gonna be on your show on the 15th, this is the international watch party. Everybody from around the world can join in and watch this watch party. So get your tickets now, and then after that, the public release of the Ubuntu documentary will be the very next day on MLK Day.
Great. So the watch party, everybody, is on Sunday, January 19th at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. And I know I'm going to be there, and I'm imagining most of our Global Peace Tribers are going to be there because that's what we do. We watch all these things, like we watched Kristin Hoffmann and her amazing, beautiful concert tonight. Kristin, it was absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. And I can't even wait for this watch party and the launch. And these are exciting times, and I really feel like this family is coming together in new ways and supporting each other, and lifting up so many great projects, and it's going to be a true honor and blessing to be there on the 19th with you, Antoinette.
Thank you, Kristin. And I did that for Deborah because I said, I put in Evolutionary Leaders, I put in We the World, Global Peace Tribe, Unity Earth, Unify. I tagged them all. I'm like, this is your event too. This is not just my event. I'm a member of all these organizations. So all these organizations better start pushing that link, put it in their newsletter, start putting it out to all their big constituents and things like that. So we can really have a global watch party. And yes, Emily, I'm going to reduce some of the tickets so that way we can have our Africans be able to participate and be able to join in with us, because it can't just be all us on one side. We need everybody up in there. Thank you, Kristin. That was such a beautiful concert. And I really love how you're transmuting all of that, because I'm telling
you. You just have to keep it. And when unexpected things happen, you just have to hold the grace and the light together, and I feel like we did that, and it ended up being not a big deal, but these things happen.
You handled it beautifully. Absolutely.
Thank you.
She did, but I did sit there and send a message to Ben. I was like, you better delete all of that stuff right now. I was not having it. I'm like, yo, now.
Thank you. It was like a big support from the whole fam.
Mhm.
So much gratitude. And I'm already looking at this art on the Redbubble link. It's so exciting. I'm so glad that there are like the stickers, everything's so amazing. I was looking at even the stickers. I'm like, I want to gift everyone a sticker for the holidays and for the new year. So everyone definitely go on the link that they shared above and check it out. It's
You
really
have to hear this song from them. You have to hear this song from them. Can I share this, Scott?
A song from
the kids.
Oh, do you have it all queued up?
I do.
Okay, go for it.
All right, then, Kristin, you're gonna love this. I'm telling you. Woo!
I'm excited. Okay.
All right. Hold on. Let me original sound. Hold on. I need to do the original sound thing part first. Original sound. All right, there we go. There we go.
In Africa, there is something known as Ubuntu. I am because we are. We come together to renew the ties that make us one. Beyond tribes, beyond community, beyond nation, even beyond the continents.
Uneko. Naam. Ni wakati wa moyo wa Ubuntu kugusa watu wote wa dunia, kwa sababu tu watoto wa Mungu mmoja, jamii moja. Amen.
That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah, they remixed Pato's song. I was like, what? That was amazing.
That's amazing.
I know. We're going to get them some instruments, girl. We're going to get them in the studio. We're going to record them. We're going to create an orchestra. We're going to do all sorts of things.
That's great, because I saw that was a homemade drum he was playing, and it
Girl,
sounded so good.
Who's coming with me? Who wants to come with me?
I'll
Who
be
wants to
there.
come with me to
I'll be
Uganda?
there. I'll be there.
I'm going in February. Who wants to come with me?
February what? What are the dates?
I'm locking it down. I'm locking it down. But if you travel with me, you know, as girls are going out there, it's like I'm trying to get my friend Jane to go. So, and I've got Tahuti, you know, the guy that I took, my herbalist, permaculturist guy from Kenya. So Yeah, so I'm just taking a group of people, whoever wants to roll with me, to come out there from Uganda to Wakanda. We're going.
From Uganda to
Yeah.
Wakanda. I love that.
Seriously, Wakanda was shot out there because where we're gonna go is to the other place that was shot in the documentary, which is Kabale Ruth, because she has the girls' school there, and
Oh,
that's the reason why I wanted to connect the two of them, because they're not far, and she was a child psychologist, and she can kind of help them with like some of the trauma. I want to see like what she was doing, but where she stays is near Wakanda, and that Wakanda is a real place. It's so beautiful. So, who wants to come? Who wants to come?
I think we all do.
we all want to go.
I need to move us forward. Emily, Antoinette, amazing what you're doing. And we will continue to carry this on the Global Peace Tribe show for sure. We're going to conclude the way we normally do with an Omashar song. But before that, I just want to let people know what's happening next week. People have been saying, well, it's the holidays. What are we going to do? And we've got actually 2 wonderful shows planned. We are going to go ahead and do a show on Christmas night. And, you know, Celestine Starr, many of you knew her when she was with us. And Celestine's birthday was December 24th. And she and I frequently would do Christmas birthday parties together. Well, it turns out that she's a busy little angel. And Michaela Ivy, who many of you know, has been channeling her and has channeled an entire book of what Celestine from the other side has to say. And so she and Deborah Giusti are putting together a whole event around it. So we are going to be celebrating Celestine on the other side. Michaela will be with us. Deborah Giusti will be with us. We'll enjoy Christmas night together. And then I'm really excited about a week from tonight, because the wonderful Kristin Hoffmann will be our co-host. And it's going to be a really wonderful evening that Kristin and I have been putting together. Swami Steve will be with us. Chief Phil Lane will be with us. Nikita will be with us. Beloved Piper Dellums will be with us. And of course, Omashar will be with us. So that's a week from tonight, a holy day celebration. I'll bring Kristin up briefly since she's actually with us, which is a blessing.
Yes, and Jerry just said in the chat, you know, reminding everyone that it is Scott's birthday on Christmas. So if you show up to the Christmas show or the 28th, we get to celebrate Scott, which is one of the coolest parts of it all.
Well, thank you. I often
we love you, Scott.
Thank you. I often joke, only 3 more shopping days until Scott's birthday.
We better get going. We better get busy.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight for your wonderful concert.
Oh, I'm so grateful to be here. And thank you for being there, Global Peace Tribers tonight. So many of you, and just love this family so much.
It's a beautiful
Looking
thing.
forward to next weekend. Can't wait.
I'm going to bring Linda back up for a moment, just because I want to acknowledge how much was going on in the chat box, Linda. People were just lit up by what you shared. And one of the things that I wanted to acknowledge was Doug May, who is one of our regular Global Peace Tribers, has been studying with the Koji people. And he mentioned in the chat box that what you were saying about dolphin consciousness and joy being the highest vibration is the same thing that Doug has been learning in working with these incredible indigenous people. So, you know, it's beautiful how the same message, you know, the message of oneness, the message of joy comes to us in so many different forms. And it is part of the great awakening that's happening.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and thank you. It has really been an interesting evening, kind of weaving all of this together, weaving together the different views of Yeshua and Jesus, the Black Madonna. We've got 2 wonderful embodiments of the Black Madonna with us tonight, and Anasuya and Antoinette. So thank you for that. I'm bringing you all up on one more time. So thank you, for just the wonderful work that you're doing. And a big thanks to our beloved brother, Omashar, who always gets us off to a rousing start and then concludes us in the most beautiful ways. Take it away, brother.
Yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Your Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the brightest bough. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Beautiful. Gonna go to gallery view one last time. Turn on your cameras, everybody. Twinkle Omashar, twinkle our wonderful guests, Antoinette and Anasuya and Emily and Kristin and Linda and Neil Gar, who was on earlier, and all of each other. Have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday tomorrow. May it be a sacred Sunday. And remember, we can make any moment sacred and divine by choosing to see the divine in all. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope to see some of you, maybe all of you, on Christmas night. And thank you again, everybody, for being the wonderful emanations of divinity that you all are. Good night, everybody.